Bloodshot really isn't a good movie by any stretch of the imagination, and I say that for quite a few reasons. This movie really isn't hard to make fun of and tear apart. So I'll try to be fair. Um, but if you're thinking about buying it, I just want to tell you that you might want to think twice. So basically, Vin Diesel plays Dom Toretto. Apparently, at one point, he was a Marine under the code name of Ray Garrison, who died, was resurrected by the government, given special abilities, and sent off to go kill certain targets or whatever. At some point, Ray or Dom finds out that this kind of stuff is happening, and even though he doesn't know what is real and what isn't, he's on a quest to find out, and, get to the truth of why he was resurrected, and what exactly this shady organization that has resurrected him, what exactly their plans are, and that's where we spring forward with the rest of the film. If that sounds stupid to you, it's probably because it is. It's based on a comic book of the same name, a Vertigo comic named Bloodshot. Apparently, it's really popular, and that's why it was able to get a film adaptation. And I'm not familiar with the actual comic book myself. I haven't read it, but I'm pretty sure that a ton of people wouldn't be spending a ton of money on these comics if they didn't make any sense, if they were incoherent. So I'm gonna take a guess here and assume that these Bloodshot comic books are good, and that this was just a really crappy attempt at adapting it, because there's a lot of things that they do wrong here. I mean, the movie just comes off as torturously dumb at a certain point. We all know that Vin Diesel isn't some Academy Award caliber actor, and no one really expected him to be in this movie. But we did expect him to act, and it just didn't seem like he did. He plays the same character in all of his films. I just think he should stick with the Fast and Furious movies. If that's who he wants to be, if he wants to be Dom, then be Dom. But don't pick up other jobs and try to do something different if that's not what you're going to do. Unfortunately, even in some of the more emotional moments or the moments that are supposed to hit hard, he's one note. And it doesn't help that his character is just written as some one note stoic kind of guy, and they try to give him some background, and they try to create this life for the audience to get behind and feel for, and give him some loss or something that you can relate with. But it just doesn't work. Vin Diesel's performance doesn't really help, and the writing doesn't really help. So instead, we just have this character who's doing these things, and we don't really care what happens to him. He's just kind of there. And unfortunately, the supporting cast really isn't much better. We have Guy Pearce, who plays a shady government official who has certain plans, but we don't really know what his actual motivations are. They just kind of gloss over that. There's also Aiza Gonzalez, who is by far the most interesting character in the entire movie, but I feel like her character is wasted because she's not really given a lot of background or backstory. So we just know that she's this interesting character who feels a certain kind of way about her situation, and feels a certain kind of way about Vin Diesel's character, but that's all we know about her. And it's like they kind of held a little bit back about her character on purpose to get that sequel that we all know isn't going to happen anyway. So why not just put everything in this movie so that we can have a fully developed character? We also have Lamorne Morris and Toby Kebbell. Lamorne Morris plays a techie guy who's supposed to be like the comedic relief at one point. It works sometimes, and then there are some other points where it doesn't work so much. And then Toby Kebbell, who honestly he really shouldn't even. He doesn't really have a lot of screen time at all. He plays an interesting villain who honestly is not in the film long enough. So unfortunately, the supporting cast doesn't save this movie either. So far we have a main character who's uninteresting and not well acted. We have supporting characters that are underdeveloped, and we don't really know much about them or what their motivations are, other than to support the uninteresting main character. So, okay, what about the action scenes? Like, a movie like this has got to have some really cool action scenes, if nothing else, right? Well, that's what you would think, but unfortunately, we don't get that. And instead, we get a lot of action scenes that just seem boring. Nothing really interesting or new happens in them. There are some scenes that could have been pulled off a little bit better, but I think that they were kind of holding back. I'm not sure if it was just to get that PG-13 rating, but there are some things that happen off screen, or some things that kind of happen like in a jumbled way, and it doesn't feel as cool or as effective as it should. And when things really do get interesting, which happens way too late, it's ruined by some of the worst CGI I've ever seen. Now, for a movie that cost $45 million to make, you would assume that we'd at least have some properly rendered CGI that would look clear and you can understand what was happening, and you know, we could have some, you know, Transformers level entertainment here. But the CGI is so bad and it's so muddled, we don't know what's happening. We don't know who's hitting who's kicking who. All you see is a giant blur of torsos and legs that are glowing red, and that's pretty much it. Not to mention the camera work during these scenes, it's just all over the place. It's almost as if you're watching a World Star video from an amateur behind the camera. And it's mind-blowing to me. Yeah, you know, you have to wonder who did they put behind creating this film? Are these all amateurs? Because that's how this movie feels. It feels like it was created by amateurs, or if it wasn't, it feels like it was just a cash grab. A few people needed some money. They made this movie like in a weekend or something, threw it out there, you know, and hoped for the best. Unfortunately, we got an undercooked, underdeveloped movie that was supposed to spawn into some sequels. I don't know. I was disappointed with this film because honestly, even though the trailers looked pretty bad, I thought, okay, well, you know, not all movies get great trailers. Maybe this movie will surprise me. But it ended up being worse than I thought it was going to be. And it just never got any better. The movie is an hour and 49 minutes, which was very thoughtful on their part. But even that's just too long. I was bored, 20, 30 minutes in. And this is a movie where things do actually happen, but nothing felt interesting enough. It just didn't keep my attention. I couldn't wait to get out of there. Overall, Bloodshot is exactly what it looks like. It's a painfully predictable action flick that's just not at all as good as it should have been, with underdeveloped characters, a story that doesn't feel like it was finished, and that could be because of the sequel aspirations, and it has horrific action scenes, and all of that just culminates into like this just big giant dump. I ran over to Rotten Tomatoes to see what the audience thought, and apparently a lot of people who saw this movie really enjoyed it. I'm not one of them. I thought it was probably the worst movie I've seen so far this year. If you're thinking about buying this or renting it, don't. This is the kind of movie that you turn on as background noise if you're tired of listening to music while you clean the house or something, or the kind of film that you put on while you're trying to swoon your significant other. It's not a movie that you actually sit down and watch, because trust me, you will walk away feeling like you lost a few more brain cells afterwards. I wouldn't recommend it. I would say avoid it. And if you're going to buy it, if you're just interested in it, you just want to see if it's really as bad as I say it is, go ahead and buy it, or wait until it comes on streaming, or wait for a discount. Don't buy it now. But those are my thoughts. What did you guys think of this review? Have you seen Bloodshot? Have you read the comic books? Am I just completely off in my assessment of this? Did I just not get it? And if you haven't seen it, are you interested in watching it now? Or did my review persuade you in one way or another? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you have not done so already, go ahead and click that subscribe button so that you can get more content like this, which contains movie news, reviews, and reactions from your boy Derek right here at Anamanji. Don't forget to click that like button And do not forget to click that bell notification so that you will know when I post again. Please let me know in the comment section if you want me to react to any more movies or TV shows. I would love to know what you guys are watching so that I can watch them with you, and then maybe we can talk about it and help each other keep our sanity while we navigate this quarantine and this virus and everything else going on in the world. I think that we all need to get our minds off of things, and what's a better way to do it than movies and TV? So just let me know what you want me to react to, if anything at all. I am open to all of it. That's all I have for now. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay dope.